Okay, so we're here this morning, or actually it's just about this afternoon now. I'm Andy Sanford. I'm lucky enough to have one of our fantastic customers in Edinburgh along the line, and I just thought we do a quick session because we often get asked to put people in contact with Edinburgh, trying to be a bit more efficient and practice what we preach here, and maybe capture some of the questions that people would ask Martyn and the team. I've got with me Martyn. I'll just let Martyn introduce himself.
Yes, certainly. Thank you, Andy. My name is Martyn Thompson. I'm a Senior Change and Delivery Officer for the City of Edinburgh Council, and I work in the Lean and Automation team.
Brilliant, mate. Thank you. So just got a couple of questions, really. What were some of the challenges? You've been with us about 14, 16, 18 months now, and you had some challenges. There was a reason why you kind of engaged with us at an event and went, oh, we like the look of that. Tell us more.
Yep.
So...
Yeah, certainly. So I wasn't part of, obviously, the reason Engage was brought in. Engage was brought in to part of continuous kind of reviews in the council and a programme of work that was going to take place called ERP to look at systems for HR, debt, accounts receivable, banking and procurement. And I was fortunate enough to get a project manager job in 2018, late 2018, and as a result of that, I was kind of put directly towards the team who were using Engage Process. As somebody who's used Visio before, I was a bit apprehensive about picking up another Visio tool, but I think within the first 5 minutes of getting a demo of Engage Process, quickly realised that this is not Visio. This is a separate kind of entity that gives you a whole host of different things that you didn't get with Visio. Our challenge in Edinburgh, as with a lot of public bodies, is to save money effectively, to look at processes, to look at services, to look at things happening within the council that we can identify financial benefits to. So Engage Process allowed us to actually do that.
That's great, mate. That really hurt me when you said another Visio tool. We're definitely not that.
No, certainly not. No, certainly not.
Not that there's anything wrong with Visio in the right place. Blah,
no,
blah,
but
blah.
Visio has its purpose.
Yeah. Thank you. How's it helped you? What's it helped you to achieve?
Helped me personally to understand the process from end to end, to understand who's involved in the process, what is involved in the process, whether that be transport or ICT systems dependencies. It helps me to understand the time a process takes and the cost attached to that process as well. So those are my kind of primary factors that help me when using that. It helped me as someone who maybe going into a service area that I had no understanding or background knowledge of, helped me quickly get up to speed with what the process is. It's certainly helped my team do the same, and it's really helped us, as I said to Andy in previous conversations, it helped us base our evidence, our findings and our business cases on fact. So as before you might have had this is averages or rough estimates, we really try and get as much kind of hard concrete figures into Engage Process that really drives the confidence up and ourselves when we present that back to someone. We know we're presenting them back factual information. As we normally have a kind of 3-step validation process, so we will process map it out with either the service or get the service to map out the process for us. We will then reconvene and validate it with subject matter experts or service managers, and then we will reconvene again and have a leaning workshop. So it's normally a 3-step kind of validation process where people involved in the process and our business analysts or change and delivery officers can actually be part of the conversation with the managers and really go through it and have confidence that the process mapped is the kind of realistic process that exists.
That's great. I mean, just picking up slightly that the wider stakeholder bit. One of the things I find is really, really important is about a shared visual demonstration of the process with all stakeholders. So for me, it's about how have you found that? Because obviously you're building live in workshop. Has it helped to get the stakeholders all on the same page?
Yes, I mean, yeah. As before, there's maybe a problem in the council where we didn't have documented processes. This obviously allowed us to document our processes. But really having a visual tool on screen in front of someone when you're mapping something out really helped to drive confidence in the stakeholders. So they were confident that that was what the process was. And if you were going to then change the process, and rather than presenting a 2B vision, we can actually present a 2B process. So we can show them quite clearly this is what we anticipate and expect and envisage the process to be in the future. Rather than it being a written tool or a kind of tool that's hard to understand, it's quite visual on the screen for senior managers to get their heads around and have confidence in what you're doing.
I find it helps as well in terms of, do people feel an ownership? You know, if a central team comes in and they plaster the wall with Post-its, then they go away and they construct some savings and, you know, an Excel sheet, some reports, a Visio map maybe. There's not that same ownership because what the stakeholders get back is different. So the good thing with the Engage is the fact that people see it and the fact that people can own it and feel ownership of that product.
And what we'll normally do is we will give people access to the map. So if you were a senior manager or you had a management team of, say, half a dozen, we would give them access to the project. So they could actually come in at any point they wanted and say, well, where are they at with this project? How are the process maps getting on? They could just come in themselves and have a look at that. They don't need to request access. We will set them up with access for that project just to read-only access. We'll give them read-only access for that project. So at any kind of point they can jump into it and have a look to see how we're getting on with the redesign.
Yeah, so it really does help avoid that. It's not being done to us; it's with us, and
with us. Yeah. The collaborate. It's a really collaborative tool,
and it makes delivery so much easier if that's the attitude. Sometimes you can get really delayed in projects where stakeholders react really badly to the outputs, and you end up doing huge amounts of rework. So, tell us a bit about what you've achieved, mate. I mean, you've got some great numbers in just over a year. So, do you want to? Can you share some of them with us?
Yeah, certainly. So in terms of it's delivered about 175,000 of savings. In terms of our pipeline, we have got a pipeline of about 800,000 at the moment, £800,000, and in delivery at the moment is about £400,000 worth of project benefit. So we've got, I think, 5 or 6 projects live at the moment, and we expect a full year effect will be about £400,000, if not potentially more. But just I'm wary to overestimate. I'd rather underestimate and overdeliver.
Absolutely, under promise, over deliver. It's the best way.
Yeah,
mate. You've trained with a really small team, couple hundred users. You've got over 1,000 processes mapped now, probably.
Yeah, certainly over 1,000 processes, but probably about 200 or so users of it, and we provide troubleshooting, guidance, training. We've got e-learning as well, and over and above all this, you've got the guys from Engage Process herself are always on hand, and Andy, of course, to answer any of the weird and wonderful questions that tend to come up when we're doing a bit of process mapping.
That's brilliant. It's how embedded you have got it. So you don't have a central team doing transformation. You have a series of improvers distributed across the service areas that do kind of think like process improvers now because they've got some tools that can help them do it. So I think it's fantastic, and you know, really moving from a point implementation for projects to actually a real strategic pillar as part of what you're doing.
Yeah, I would agree.
Great stuff. So, final question, mate. I think it is. So for those people that would say, Martyn, what would you say about this? How could it help us? Is it worth it for us?
I mean, if you're not sure, have a look at it. Get a demo of it. Have a look to see what it does. It might give you everything that you could possibly need. It certainly gives us everything that we could possibly need. Rather than having 4 or 5 different documents with a calculator on one, a spreadsheet on another, one just holding your volumes, one with your risk log on it. We have got a central kind of repository with all that, and that's what Engage gives you. Engage gives you your risk log for your process. Engage gives you your time. Engage gives you your roles involved. Engage gives you your process map. So it really is a kind of a one-size-fits-all bit of software that kind of gives you gives you everything that you probably had multiple different spreadsheets or systems that you had before, but it's really a great central tool to give you those tools to achieve. It is very user friendly, so you have people like myself and my colleagues who have obviously been using it for quite a while, so we know all the kind of intuitive tools it's got. But for somebody who just wants to jump on and create a basic process map, they could do that with no training at all. They could do it with absolutely zero training and quite quickly, using the tool, work out how to use it, because it is very intuitive, it's very sophisticated. It is not like previous kind of process mapping software that I've used, where you need a half-day training tool just to get a basic process map on the page.
That's great, mate. And from my perspective, I would always say to people, have a look at it. We do a month's free trial. And what we do is we invest in actually training people as well for that trial, so people can properly evaluate it. So there's literally no risk to an organisation. Take the month's free trial. We'll give you an hour and a half webinar to get you started. You can put a process in or multiple processes in, and you can evaluate it. And to be honest, if it doesn't fit right now, it'll probably fit in the future for you. So, you know, we're quite happy to spend that time. And we're like you, mate. We want to work with engaged people. There's no point trying to drag people to buy something if it's not the right time. What are you trying to achieve, and finding out whether this software is the right fit. And we as a company really didn't want to be, let's just say, like a traditional software vendor in the public or private sector even. You know, we want people to be able to see it, prove that they want it, and then actually get on board as really engaged people. And hopefully they can achieve even a fraction of what you guys have done at Edinburgh, some amazing output. So thanks. Yeah. I really appreciate your time. Martyn, if you did want to speak to Martyn, I'm sure he might, but I'm mindful that they are a very busy team. As you can see, you don't map 1,000 processes in just over a year by
it's certainly not me alone who's mapped those processes.
No,
I've got
I know.
a great team that work with me.
Excellent, mate. Thank you so much, and thanks, mate.
Thanks so much, Andy. Take care.